The third night of NHL hockey concludes today, and man, wow, what a night for the NHL. We saw a few upsets. We saw a few teams get their first ever wins, or their first wins, not for their first ever wins, but you know what I mean. So it was a good night. Some first NHL goals were scored. It's been a great night for the NHL and a great day, honestly, for the NHL. A stressful, I think, 10 games. I think I counted here. And tomorrow we probably are gonna have maybe 3, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't looked at the schedule yet. But yeah. Anyways, let's get into the first game here because there is a lot of games. I don't want to have this to be too long because I do have the power rankings to do later tonight as well. Edmonton versus Montreal. Okay, so coming into this, Montreal is 1-0 or 0-1 or 0-1. Sorry, I think I have the records outdated here, and Edmonton's 1-0. So, okay, so coming to this, Edmonton gets a penalty and it's Caleb Jones for interference. And there goes Montreal, right off the bat, just scoring. Jeff Petrie gets his first of the year with Suzuki and Weber getting the assist. It is 1-0 Montreal off of a very early penalty. Then Montreal gets a penalty there. Weber for interference that's eventually killed off. And that's the end of the first period. Really uneventful. The only thing that was highlighted there was the Petrie goal. But yeah, second period, Montreal scores again. Tatar was the second of the season with Denault and Gallagher getting the assist. 2-0 Montreal. And then they get another one. Petrie with Denault getting the assist. Second of the game, Petrie, and it's 3-0 Montreal already. So, Edmonton didn't really come to play too much at all last night. Montreal then got a penalty, Lehkonen for delay of game. Of course, that was killed off. And then Montreal scored again. Jake Evans, my boy Evans. No assists on the goal. And yeah, it's 4-0 Montreal. And I'm looking at myself and saying, well, Edmonton didn't show up. I mean, that's pretty much the thing when you look at it here. Edmonton didn't exactly show up, to be honest with you. I mean, you look at the statistics on paper, they did, but they didn't play too well on the goaltending side of things. And yes, the goaltenders for Edmonton had been a thing for years. They need a new goalie. I think that's one of the things that comes down to it when you're a Oilers fan. You will say that first off. They need a brand new goaltender. I think that's the biggest thing with this team. That's just the biggest problem. So yeah, Montreal then scores in the third period. Tatar with Gallagher getting the assist. It is 5-0 Montreal, and I'm like, oh my lord. And then Edmonton scores their only goal of the game. Kokoek, his first as an Edmonton Oiler with Tyson Barrie and Connor McDavid getting the 2 assists there. And the final score is 5-1 Edmonton. Nurse got a penalty for boarding that was ended up killing off. And 5-1's the final score. As a part-time Oilers fan as myself, I would be disappointed right now. I know your team, you won against Vancouver. You lost against Vancouver once. You won against Vancouver. Holy. So this is looking disappointing for Oilers fans right now, but yeah, it happens, I guess. Montreal gets their first win of the season. They're 1-0-1, and Edmonton starts off their season with a 1-2-0 record after 3 games of play. Carolina versus Detroit. Now, what happened in this game? Carolina drawing penalties as always. Detroit gets 2 penalties right off the bat with the Kaiser for tripping and Brown for tripping. Those are both killed off by Detroit. That's the biggest thing with this team. Detroit, you need to not get penalties. And I'm gonna say I say that a ton. I said that yesterday with I'm pretty sure it was Philly. It wasn't Philly. It might have been Toronto. I was saying they can't keep drawing penalties like this. And I'm exactly right. They cannot keep doing this. They're not going to win games just straight off just making penalties like this. So yeah, Detroit, they came up with a lucky win tonight though. Carolina got a penalty with Niederreiter for interference. Killed off by Carolina. And then, second period, Detroit scores. It's Bobby Ryan, his first goal as a Red Wing, with Zadina getting the assist. Detroit's first goal of the season. And it's 1-0 Detroit. Then Detroit gets a penalty because, they just can't hold a lead, can they? De Kaiser for cross-checking, and that was scored in the third period as Trocheck would get his first goal of the season with Svechnikov and Hamilton getting the assist. It's tied 1-1. And then Detroit scores again with Dylan Larkin and Mantha getting the goal. Dylan Larkin getting the goal. Mantha and Bertuzzi getting the assist. Boom, it's 2-1 Detroit. And that's just one thing with this team. I honestly just don't know. Detroit, they'll come in some nights, they'll play amazing, then they'll come out some nights playing dog crap. Like, that's the thing with this team, because they'll go from so good to just, I don't know. And, Detroit was mostly bad last season. It's just, honestly, I don't know what to say with them right now. Carolina ties it up with Svechnikov getting the goal and Marnook getting the assist. It's 2-2. Detroit gets a penalty Bertuzzi for hooking that's killed off by Detroit there. Carolina then gets a penalty that's Shea for slashing, and that's killed off. Uneventful until 2 minutes left in the game when Robbie Fabry, of all people, Robbie Fabry gets the goal with Zadina and Hronek getting the assist. It's 3-2 Detroit. Carolina pulls their goaltender. Larkin gets the second of the game with Nemeth getting the assist. And then, Detroit gets a penalty for playing with no helmet. That's Glendening there. Killed off. And, Detroit pulls off of, at least for me, it was a fairly surprising win. 4-2 final score. Honestly, they weren't really in it, Carolina. Their statistics show the shots don't really matter, honestly. The shots don't matter when you look at it, in some areas. And, tonight, they didn't really matter as much. So, Detroit's 1-1-0. Carolina's also 1-1-0. Honestly, just come out of there with alright, that's okay, I guess. So, Carolina heads on to play, I want to say Tampa. Detroit goes to play Chicago. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't even looked at the schedules yet, so I have no idea who's playing who tomorrow and the next couple of days as well. So, final tallies here, 31-21 with the shots favor Carolina. 1 for 5 was the power play for Carolina. 0 for 2 was power play for Detroit. The hits were 23-14 favor Carolina. But Carolina, they kind of led on paper, but Detroit came out with a 4-2 win. Islanders versus Rangers. Penalty-filled, goal-scoring-filled game. First period, you start off very early with a Pavel Buchnevich goal from Zibanejad. 1-0 Rangers. Right, just right off the bat. Rangers just came in there saying, you know what, we're going to score a goal. And then, they score on Sorokin, his NHL debut. Sorokin being called in after Varlamov got injured in pregame warmups. Kind of tough for him, honestly. I think that's really tough to see him go out like this, but Rangers penalty, Kreider for slashing. That was cut off. The Islanders got a penalty then. Lee for minor. It just said minor on the tally. I was like, what? So, they killed that off as well. And then New York got another one in the first period. Panarin from Smith getting the assist there. And it's 2-0 Rangers. And then New York Islanders gets another penalty. Dobson for closing hand on puck, which we never see. I think the last time I saw that was in the 2018 playoffs, mind you. So, you can say that what you will. Very surprising there. But first period, Rangers up 2-0. It's like, what? All right. Second period, the Islanders get a penalty. Barzal for tripping. Barzal got a lot of penalties tonight. I'm thinking to myself, what? And then the Islanders got a penalty. Then Barzal for interference again. And then the Rangers scored again. Pavel Buchnevich with no assist on the play. I saw it was a pretty good goal. 3-0 Rangers. Then the Rangers got another penalty. Kakko for slashing. Then Johnston got a penalty for holding. So there you go. And then the Rangers scored again. Capo Kakko getting his first goal of the season with Di Giuseppe and Chatil getting the assist. I noticed the young guys. The young guys are playing so well for this Rangers team. And they even played not bad in last game, too. Lafreniere and Keandre Miller still to get points for the team yet. But I think in the next game, they definitely will try and put up some points there. But right now, it's looking great if you're a Rangers fan. The Rangers then got another penalty. Smith for interference. That was killed off. Of course it was. I think I just said that for every penalty the Rangers got. And after 2 periods of play, the Rangers up by 2. Not bad. Third period, the Rangers get another penalty. Di Giuseppe for tripping. And I'm like, for real? Really? They can't even go without a penalty. It's just ridiculous. And then Johnston receives a misconduct. There was a bit of a fight there. Everything going on with that. And then Johnston's out. Boom, done. And then the Rangers score again. Panarin with Fox and Buchnevich getting the assists. It's 5-0 the final score there. The Islanders get a penalty. Barzal for checking. Killed off. And the Rangers come out of there with a 5-0 statement win. Honestly, I think that's a statement win. And I think that's a bit. I think last game, the 4-0 loss, was a huge wake-up call for this Rangers team. So I think it's great that they won this game. I think it's great for the team and the chemistry and all that stuff. But right now looking pretty exciting. Rangers 1-1-0. Islanders 1-1-0 as well. Final tallies: 32-23 in shots for the Rangers. Rangers were 1 for 8 on the power play. Islanders were over 4. 22-31 with the hits in favor of the Islanders. But Honestly, if you're an Islanders fan, yeah. It sucks for Sorokin in his first game to lose 5-0 like this. But yeah, I guess it happens. And yeah, I also wish best wishes to Semyon Varlamov in his recovery. We'll probably find out that injury update tomorrow as well with David Casses. So we're gonna see a lot of stuff come out tomorrow. All right, Toronto versus Ottawa now. So Toronto coming into this off of a very brutal game yesterday to the Ottawa Senators, facing them again in Ottawa once again. So yeah, Toronto gets a penalty, Mitchell Marner for tripping. And then Ottawa scores. Nick Paul from Zaitsev and Brown. And then boom, it is 1-0 Ottawa right off the bat there. Then Toronto says, you know what? No, you're not allowed to score. Gets another one. Thornton with his first goal as a Toronto Maple Leaf. With Marner and Brody getting the assists. It is 1-1 after one period of play. Really uneventful in that first period when you look at it in all honesty. So yeah, then Toronto gets another goal. In the second period there, right off the bat, with Marner getting the goal and then Matthews getting his second assist. It is 1-0 or 2-1 Toronto per se. And then a bunch of killed off penalties. Toronto gets one for hooking, Tavares killed off. Ottawa gets one for slashing, Shabbat killed off. Ottawa gets one for delay of game, Paquette killed off. Toronto gets one for high sticking, Mikhaev killed off. Toronto gets one for delay of game again. Mitchell Marner killed off. So yeah, a bunch of penalties in the second period, really uneventful. Besides the first goal, there was really not too much tallies in there. But yeah, honestly, it was really just an uneventful period there for the Maple Leafs and the Ottawa Senators. Third period, Ottawa gets another penalty. Connor Brown for holding, and that turns out to be the one that kills him. Toronto scores in. Matthews from Marner and Thornton get the assist there, and it is 3-1 Toronto. Then Ottawa scores. Tim Stützle, welcome to the NHL, buddy. First goal of his NHL career. First goal of the season. Shabbat White getting the assist, and it is final score 3-2. There was two penalties. Hyman for high sticking, and Stützle for tripping. They were both called off, and there you go. Final score 3-2. Toronto after a pretty hard fought period. Toronto's 2-1-0. Ottawa's 1-1-0. Then Toronto had 40 shots on net, which is very good for Toronto standards. 19 shots for Ottawa, 1 for 4 on the power play for Toronto, 0 for 5 for Ottawa. Hits per 30-15. Yeah, honestly, it was a great game for Toronto. Ottawa, it sucks, but I'm still excited to see what your team's going to do in the coming games because it's looking pretty exciting right now for the team right now because, they played great in the past two games. That's one thing with Ottawa because I came in here thinking, Ottawa, you know what, they're not going to play too well. They're going to get another high draft pick. But right now, they ain't looking too bad. They can win their next game and be 2-0. They can win their next 3 games and be 4-0. For all we know. It could be very interesting. We're going to see what Ottawa's going to do. We're going to see how Dorian and all these other coaches are going to coach their team. It's going to be pretty entertaining as a Senators fan in the coming years, and especially this season, too, because they might actually make it. Like, that sounds weird, but if they keep up with this consistency, they might actually make it. All right. Columbus versus Nashville now. So, Columbus, what are you doing? I guess they pushed. They didn't do too bad, but they ran into a very hot goaltender. That's basically what it comes down to for Columbus right now. Starting off, Nashville gets a penalty. It's tripping on Eric Holla. Welcome to the Predators, Holla. But yeah, and then Columbus doesn't score off the penalty, but they score again with Foligno getting his first goal of the season with Michael Del Zotto, his first point as a Blue Jacket, getting the assist, and Texia as well. It's 1-0 Columbus. Then Nashville says, oh, no, you are not going to get a lead. Grimaldi scores then from Ellis, and it is tied 1-1 after one period of play. Columbus gets a penalty, Texia for slashing, turns into nothing, and the second period was also kind of nothing too. Columbus then gets a penalty, Foligno for high sticking, that's killed off. And Nashville gets a penalty for delay of game, face-off violation. And then, yeah, that was basically the second period. The third period was really where I was at, though. Nashville scored Forsberg with no assists. It's 2-1 then. Then Columbus ties it with Texier and Foudy. Foudy, and Del Zotto getting the points there. It is 2-2. And you think to yourself, you know what? Columbus can easily win. Nashville can easily win. It's just the thing with that. But no. Columbus, the bottom line why they lost this game was because they ran into another hot goaltender. That's the biggest thing with this team. They keep running into hot goalies. Nashville scores Brad Richardson. Proud to see as a Coyotes fan, but it's kind of sad to see as a Coyotes fan. His first goal is a Predator with Ekholm getting the assist. It's 3-2 Nashville. Then Kunin gets a goal, second goal of the season with Cousins and Duchesne getting the assist. It is 4-2 Nashville. And then they just had to score again, don't they? Sissons with Arvidsson and Fabro getting the assists. It is 5-2 Nashville. And then Columbus gets a penalty. Bajorstrand for high sticking turns into nothing. And final score, 5-2 Nashville. Wow. Nashville's 2-0. Columbus is 0-2. Shots were 44-33 in favor of Columbus. 0-2 was the power play. 0-2 for Columbus. 0-3 for Nashville in the power play. 16-11 were the hits in favor of Nashville. Yeah. Bottom line. Hard fought game by Columbus. Hard fought game by Nashville too. Columbus, honestly, it sucks. It does suck. You think you can come out of it. You think you can come out with a win, but it really hurts. It stinks as a Columbus fan, part-time Columbus fan as myself. But yeah, it sucks. But that's what it comes to. I think Columbus plays Tampa next. I'm really not sure, honestly. But yeah, we'll see what happens next. It's gonna be interesting. Minnesota versus Los Angeles. Another exciting game here. Minnesota looking good in their first two games. Although they are playing the Los Angeles Kings, they're still putting up a big fight. Dumba scores the first goal for the Minnesota Wild, his first goal of the season, with Greenway and Suter getting the assist. It is 1-0 Minnesota early. LA then gets a penalty for too many men, killed off. Minnesota then gets a penalty for hooking. Bajukstad, by the way, killed off. Minnesota gets a penalty for interference. Johansson killed off. Noticing a ton of penalties right now. Props to you, Columbus. I mean, not Columbus. Minnesota. Excuse me. When I don't talk for a while, my throat gets very dry, so computer life hates me. And then LA scores. Gabriel Velarde, his first goal of the season with Wagner and McDermott getting the assist there. It is 1-1. Tied. Boom, just like that. 1-1 after one. That's really what it was. Second period, full of penalties. LA gets a penalty for interference, and then they score. Lazat gets the goal there with Doughty and Carter getting the assist. It is 1-0. Then you get a bunch of penalties and a bunch of goals. LA gets a penalty, Velarde for slashing, it's killed off. Minnesota gets a penalty, Fiala for interference, it's also killed off. Sorry about that. LA then scores Athanasiou from Carter, and it is 3-1 Los Angeles. And yeah, it's looking like they aren't going to win it. And then boom, they turn it around like that. LA gets a penalty, Kempe for holding. Minnesota gets a penalty, Kaprizov for slashing. And then Walker gets a penalty for holding. And yeah, end of the second period there. Third period, more penalties galore. That was basically just a whole night for Minnesota, honestly. Fiala for a high stick, killed off. LA for interference, that's Drew Doughty's penalty. That's also killed off. Struggle to turn the page here real quick. Minnesota, they then get a goal. Joel Eriksson Ek, his first of the season, with Greenway and Patera getting the assist. It is 3-2. Minnesota gets a penalty and Parise for holding. That's killed off, and it's looking like LA is gonna win it. Boom! This is LA's game. LA's big dub. 1.4 seconds left. That's probably the worst feeling as a Wild fan, honestly. 1.4 seconds left. Suter ties up the game from Parise and Bonino. That's incredibly tough for LA. And it is 3-3 heading into overtime for the second time in this series. And of course, it wouldn't be a comeback if Minnesota didn't score right. Marcus Johansson, first goal as a Minnesota Wild, with Kaprizov getting his third assist. Kaprizov, my God, an insane start by Kaprizov to this season. And Brodin gets the other assist. Final score, 4-3 in favor of the Minnesota Wild. Pretty impressive. Honestly, when you look at it, that's very impressive. As a Minnesota Wild, part-time Minnesota Wild fan, we look at it. 2-0 for the Wild, 0-2 for the Kings. 44-33 were the shots in favor of Minnesota. Both teams went over 5 on a power play, and the hits were 18-17 in favor of the Minnesota Wild. So a great game all in all. Very exciting to watch. And yeah, only 2 games remaining. These were the late games. Vegas versus Anaheim. Coming into this, I was like, okay, so Vegas is going to get another win here. 2-0. Boom. There we go. Easy. And it was a lot harder than I thought it was for Vegas to get said 2-0 record. Vegas gets a penalty. That's the only event in the first period. Alex Tuck for slashing. That's basically it. That's basically the only thing that happened in that period. Second period, Max Comtois. These rookies are really impressing Anaheim right now. Or really impressing me in Anaheim right now. His third goal of the season with Larson getting the assist and Steele getting the other one. 1-0 Anaheim. Then Vegas gets a penalty there. Marchessault for slashing. That's killed off. Anaheim then gets a penalty in the third period. We're on to the third period now because this game had nothing. So expect this game to be less than 2 minutes long. Silverberg for delay of game. Killed off. And then Vegas with less than 2 minutes left. William Karlsson with Marchessault and Stone getting the assist. 1-1. And I'm thinking to myself, like, really, you can't let Anaheim get the win, Vegas? Really? Like, I was like, bruh. And then, 7 seconds into overtime, Pacioretty says, you know what? I'm just going to score. Second goal of the season with Stone getting the assist. Stone being pretty good as a captain right now. And there you go. Vegas with a 2-0 record as a kind of a new team, to be honest. Vegas is 2-0. Anaheim's 0-1. Final tallies here, 22-33 with the shots in favor of Vegas. Then 0-2 on the power play was Anaheim. 0-1 was Vegas. The hits were 23-29 in favor of Vegas. Yeah, when you look down to it, a hard-fought game by Vegas. I'm glad they came back and won that. Yeah, honestly, it's really just all that there is to it. Finally, now we have the Calgary Flames and the Vancouver Canucks. What on earth? Vancouver. What? Yeah, a lot of penalties in this game. And a lot of them were towards Calgary. Or Vancouver, I'm sorry. It was not a good game when you look at it to the point for Vancouver. First period, Vancouver gets a penalty. Pearson for high sticking. Goal! First goal. Monahan gets the first goal of the game. First of the season as well, with Tkachuk and Lindholm getting the assist. It is 1-0 Calgary. Then Calgary gets 2 penalties, Bennett for holding and Backlund for high sticking. They're both killed off. Of course they are. And that's it for the first period. Really just nothing in the first period besides that first goal. Second period, Vancouver. Stop drawing penalties. Hoglander for interference gets killed off. Mott for hooking gets killed off. And then Calgary gets 2. Hannafin for holding and Bennett for hooking. Those are both killed off as well. And then Mott for tripping is also killed off. Or no, it's not killed off, sorry. And then Dubé gets the goal for Calgary. 2-0 Calgary. Mangiapane and Backlund get the 2 goals for Calgary there, and boom. It's 2-0 right off the bat there at the end of 2 periods. As I said, this game was kind of quick, low key. Vancouver in the third period then got another penalty because they just have to all day for interference. Edler. Vancouver gets another penalty because why not? Besser for slashing, and Calgary gets that tally. Tkachuk and Gaudreau get the assist there with Anderson as well there. And the final score, 3-0. 3-0. So yeah, Markstrom gets a shutout. 35-32 with the shots in favor of Calgary. Vancouver was over 4. Calgary was 3 for 6. And then the hits were 11-10 in favor of Calgary. Wow. Honestly, just a wow night for the NHL. Wow night for the Calgary Flames. Wow night for the Vancouver Canucks. Wow night for everything. Vancouver. Nah, you can't keep drawing penalties like that. I said that a lot with a few teams tonight, but you can't keep drawing penalties. It's gonna get you killed. Honestly, it will be. So yeah, that's the night for the NHL. We got the power rankings later tonight. It's currently 2:23 in the morning, so I'm going to wait for this video to upload and then do said power rankings, which will probably be up around 3:34 a.m. So yeah, if you're on the East Coast, then you'll probably see this in the morning. Thank you for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Please make sure to leave a like, hit that subscribe button as we're trying to get to 800 subscribers. I probably said 700 a few times in the past couple of videos. By June 2021. Thank you all for the constant support on the YouTube channel as of late. And I will see you guys later tonight for the power rankings.